Last season, the Philadelphia Eagles made a move that transformed their entire offensive identity. They went out and acquired a running back who didn't just fill a spot on the depth chart. He revolutionized their ground game. This wasn't a subtle improvement. This was a shift that took them from being a solid team to a dominant force, literally running their way to the Super Bowl. The blueprint was clear: build a physical, relentless rushing attack that wears down defenses and controls the tempo. And it worked to perfection. Fast forward to this year, and now we're seeing the Pittsburgh Steelers trying to replicate that formula. But instead of going after a big name in free agency, they've decided to invest in the future. They went through the draft, handpicking a running back from the University of Iowa who, in their eyes, has the potential to bring that same level of impact to Pittsburgh's offense. The goal is simple: reignite a ground game that, quite frankly, fell short of expectations last season. Now, before we dive into the specifics of why this pick makes so much sense, I need to share how genuinely excited I am about this player joining the Steelers. This isn't just a random prospect. He's a guy whose style of play fits perfectly with what Pittsburgh is trying to build. From the moment his name was called, you could feel the buzz. There's a real belief that this could be the piece they were missing. And today, I want to walk you through exactly why I'm so high on him. Let's start by taking a step back and looking at where the Steelers' running game stood in the 2024 season. Statistically, they were among the most committed teams to running the ball. In terms of rushing attempts per game, they ranked 6th in the entire league. Their play calling also reflected this commitment, with the team sitting at 4th in the percentage of plays that were designed runs. The intent was crystal clear. They wanted to establish the run and build their offense around it. But here's the problem: intent doesn't always translate to success. Despite their efforts, the Steelers struggled mightily when it came to actual production. They finished 25th in the league in yards per attempt, which is a glaring indicator of inefficiency. Even more telling was their standing in advanced metrics. They were 24th in expected points added, EPA, per rush, a stat that essentially measures how effective a team is at creating positive outcomes on each play. And when it came to success rate, the percentage of plays that are considered successful based on down and distance, they found themselves in the 20th spot. That's bottom-tier performance. In simple terms, Pittsburgh's rushing attack was ineffective. You could argue they were among the 5 worst in the league, maybe even 10, depending on which metrics you prioritize. Either way, the reality is undeniable. Their inability to establish a consistent ground game hurt the overall efficiency of their offense. It wasn't just about failing to gain yards. It was about constantly being in unfavorable situations, making it harder to sustain drives and control games. So what went wrong? From my perspective, 2 primary issues plagued the Steelers' rushing attack last season. First and foremost, the offensive line simply didn't execute at a high level. Run blocking is all about cohesion, timing, and physical dominance, and this unit struggled to operate as a synchronized group. Holes weren't opening up the way they needed to, and defenses capitalized on that. The second issue was personnel fit. One of their primary running backs didn't align well with the offensive scheme they were trying to implement. Specifically, the Steelers leaned heavily on outside zone concepts, a scheme that demands a certain type of back. You need a runner with elite vision, the ability to identify cutback lanes, and the agility to make quick, decisive movements. Unfortunately, the back they relied on was more of a power runner, a bruiser who excels at running through contact but lacks the lateral quickness and change of direction required for outside zone success. While his physicality and work ethic were never in question, it became evident that this was a mismatch. What's interesting is that on the surface, some people have tried to compare the new rookie to that same player, largely because of their similar size and build. But when you dig deeper, you quickly realize they're entirely different runners. Watching their tape side by side, the contrast is stark. While both possess a powerful frame, the rookie brings a completely different skill set to the table. My scouting report on him was done well before the draft, and I can tell you, this guy is special. Physically, he's built like a tank. His frame is solid, and he carries his weight with strength and balance. But don't let his size fool you. He's not just a between-the-tackles thumper. His long speed is impressive. He clocked a time of 4.57 seconds in the 40-yard dash, which might not blow you away on paper, but when you see him in game, the story changes. His acceleration through the line of scrimmage is excellent, and his top-end speed is more than enough to break away from defenders. What truly sets him apart, though, is his vision. Among all the running backs selected in this year's draft, he might have the best field awareness. His ability to anticipate where holes will develop and make the right reads is remarkable. This is crucial in an outside zone scheme, where patience and vision are non-negotiable. Additionally, he runs with tremendous contact balance, making it difficult for defenders to bring him down in open space. Ball security is another standout trait. No fumbles last season, which is something every coach values immensely. Of course, he's not a perfect prospect. His short area quickness and suddenness are not elite, meaning he benefits greatly from being in a system that allows him to build up speed. He needs clear pathways to get moving, but once he hits the second level, he becomes a load to handle. While his contributions in the passing game are limited, the Steelers have other backs who can fill that role effectively. One area where this rookie truly shines is in late-game situations. Much like some of the league's top running backs, he has a knack for getting stronger as the game progresses. In the fourth quarter, when defenses are worn down, he's able to take over with powerful, explosive runs. This was a glaring weakness for the Steelers in previous seasons, their inability to close out games with the ground game. Bringing in a back who can consistently move the chains and secure first downs in crunch time is a game changer. Looking at some of the advanced tracking data from last season, he reached speeds exceeding 22 miles per hour multiple times during games. That's not just fast for a player of his size, that's elite, period. Once he breaks through the initial line of defense, he transforms into a freight train, barreling through would-be tacklers with over 220 pounds of force. Very few backs in the league combine that size with such in-game speed. Now, none of this would matter without a functional offensive line, and that remains a significant question mark for Pittsburgh. There are concerns about the coaching, the overall consistency, and the development of key players. Some of their tackles have struggled, and staying healthy is always a worry. However, there's genuine optimism surrounding a few young linemen. The team's left tackle prospect, for instance, hasn't had a full season to showcase his abilities, but when he's been on the field, he's flashed high-end potential. The hope is that with a full off-season of development, he can step into a starting role and solidify that side of the line. If the offensive line can take that next step, this rookie back is poised to thrive. The Steelers have built their offense with the intention of running the ball effectively, and now they have a player who embodies that philosophy. He brings a combination of physicality, vision, and big playability that was sorely lacking. It's no exaggeration to say that he could have one of the most impactful rookie seasons among all running backs in the league this year. Of course, we're not saying he's going to replicate the historic season we saw from the Eagles running back last year. That was a once-in-a-generation type of impact. But what we can say is that the Steelers finally have a player who fits their offensive identity. A back who can take over games in the fourth quarter, punish defenses, and provide the kind of consistency they've been missing. The coaching staff has been vocal about wanting a running back who could be a focal point in crucial moments. After drafting this player, they made it clear that his fourth-quarter production was a major factor in their decision. Last season, his average yards per carry in the final period was over 5, possibly approaching 6. That's the kind of late-game dominance that teams crave. In his college career, particularly last season, he consistently delivered when it mattered most. Long, punishing drives, key first downs, and explosive plays that sealed victories. He did it all. The Steelers are banking on him bringing that same energy to the NFL. If he does, this could be a turning point for the team's offense. The strategy is simple. Follow the model of successful teams that lean on a powerful ground game to close out wins. Give the ball to a back who can get the job done, even when the defense knows what's coming. The addition of this rookie gives Pittsburgh that weapon. He's accustomed to running behind heavy personnel sets with multiple tight ends on the field, which aligns perfectly with the Steelers' approach. With his combination of experience, physical traits, and scheme fit, he's uniquely positioned to succeed. The coaching staff is excited, the fan base is buzzing, and as the season approaches, all eyes will be on how this rookie handles the jump to the pros. His ability to deliver in high-pressure situations, much like the elite backs in the league, gives Pittsburgh a real chance to reestablish their identity as a physical, run-first team. Now, I know many of you are wondering, what are the chances he takes home Offensive Rookie of the Year honors? Given the depth of talent entering the league this year, I'd estimate his odds somewhere between 5 and 10%. It's a tough competition, but make no mistake, if the offensive line holds up and this rookie gets his opportunities, he's going to make a statement. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a surprising turn of events, the Pittsburgh Steelers have reportedly completed a trade with the Cleveland Browns, acquiring quarterback Deshaun Watson in a deal that is sending shockwaves throughout the NFL. While the trade was initially the subject of intense speculation, sources within both teams have now confirmed that the deal has gone through, marking a monumental shift for both franchises. Deshaun Watson, once a rising star with the Houston Texans, had a tumultuous period with the Browns, facing legal battles and questions about his future in the league. However, the Browns, eager to make a change at quarterback, have decided to move on from Watson, believing that a fresh start with a new team will help him rediscover the form that made him one of the most sought-after quarterbacks in recent years. On the other hand, the Steelers, after struggling with quarterback play in the post-Ben Roethlisberger era, have made a bold move to solidify their future at the most crucial position on the field. This trade is expected to have a profound impact on both teams. For the Steelers, Watson brings a dynamic playmaker who has the ability to change the course of a game with his arm's strength and mobility. With a talented roster that includes star wide receivers like Deontay Johnson and George Pickens, Watson's arrival could elevate the Steelers' offense to new heights. Pittsburgh's defense, which has been a mainstay of their success in recent years, will undoubtedly benefit from the added offensive firepower, allowing the team to focus more on dictating the pace of games. For the Cleveland Browns, the decision to part ways with Watson signals a new direction for the franchise. The Browns have struggled to find stability at quarterback for years, and the hope is that this move will set them on a path toward finding a signal caller who can consistently lead the team. The return in the trade is still under wraps, but the Browns are reportedly seeking additional assets to help them rebuild and improve their roster. The trade opens the door for Cleveland to explore new options, both in the draft and through free agency, as they look to reshape their team into a more competitive unit. As with any major trade in the NFL, there are numerous factors at play here. Watson's past off-field issues, combined with his potential to return to elite form, make this deal a high-risk, high-reward move for the Steelers. On the flip side, the Browns are betting that moving on from Watson will lead to better results in the long run, but only time will tell whether this bold decision pays off. The NFL world will be watching closely to see how Watson adjusts to his new environment in Pittsburgh and how the Browns proceed with their quarterback search. In the meantime, fans in both Cleveland and Pittsburgh are left to wonder what the future holds for their teams, with both franchises now facing a new era of uncertainty and possibility. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.